On day one of Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, I'm catching up with Kalyan Kumar, Global CTO, HCL Tech. Welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thanks, Shibani, for having me.
So tell us about what are the kind of solutions, products that you're launching at this event, and generally what is the presence HCL Tech is going to have at this year's Mobile World Congress?
So we've been a regular attendee at Mobile World Congress as HCL Tech. This year, our focus is primarily around 5G acceleration. How do we really help enterprises and customers adopt 5G at scale? And we also have a presence of our software division, HCL Software, which is really building software product to help connect both the digital and the network side of a telco and help them operate efficiently and able to drive and increase their revenue. From an HCL Tech standpoint, we really look at the telecommunications space in a 360-degree fashion. It's part of our ecosystem strategy. We work with telco operators in terms of helping them modernize their network, ability to improve their digital experience, customer experience, drive better revenue. We have engineering services which works with the telco in terms of the packet core network and those pieces, but also help network equipment providers, a lot of the OEMs who are also customers for us, helping them modernize their network equipment, both from chipset, from silicon up to software. And on the software product side, we've got a end-to-end industry solution stack for telecommunications, starting from digital experience on up to the network.
So you must be catching up with a lot of clients over here. What are the cues that you're picking up from this year's Mobile World Congress, and what are the growth opportunities for 5G?
The first thing is that there's some 100,000 people who've landed up, which effectively means that this is becoming a full active show. The majority of the conversation, there are three key themes which you are seeing. One is all about, okay, investments on 5G are happening. How do you really monetize 5G? Is how do you, both on the consumer side and also on the enterprise side, in terms of how do I really monetize 5G? The second thing which you're really seeing is this whole interplay of cloud hyperscalers along with the telcos and the network equipment manufacturers. What's the role of the hyperscaler in terms of how hyperscalers are building their network and also creating the hyperscaler edge, and how will it interop with the telco mechs? And that's going to be a big play. The third thing is this whole lines blurring between private and public networks. So we're seeing a big, clear play with large enterprise customers looking at how do I relook at my network modernization strategy and say, okay, how do I make 5G and evolution towards 6G in the future part of the core network modernization strategy of an enterprise?
Correct. And what is the kind of revenue that HCL Tech is targeting from 5G and the key market segments there?
See, I don't think we put revenues out separately for telco or 5G. The target addressable market, if you look at the IDC data which came in, it's close to about, the spend is about close to $270 billion, which the telco operators, the hyperscalers, and the OEMs are going to spend. So there is a significant momentum which is coming up. We've got large customers in existing HCL Tech portfolio, both on the telco operator as well as the network equipment provider side on our engineering services. And on HCL Software, we've got close to 110 plus telco customers worldwide who are expanding and growing. So it's going to be very important. I don't think we'll be able to segment and give you a number, but I think it's part of the growth market strategy.
And any plans for India? And when you speak about, let's say going beyond 5G, and when it comes to 6G, are you looking at acquiring spectrum in the country? What are the plans for?
So our strategy has been to partner in the market as an ecosystem. So we are creating telco ecosystem partnerships with large telecom operators whom we want to, because I think at the point in time, if you go back to the heritage of HCL, we've always been in the founding spaces of network, from VSAT up to the whole evolution. But in this whole space, the way we really look at it is there is open spectrum, which in many countries is got 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, CBRS in the US. We're going to help the customers who will acquire the spectrum, but we'll help them deploy, integrate, and operate the network. And in markets where spectrum is licensed through an operator, we are building a lot of very deep ecosystem partnerships with the operators to be able to deliver that. Same logic of why should you build a data center versus partnering with a hyperscaler is the same logic which you're applying it in the telco.
Generally, KK, what are the key trends that you are seeing in IT, and how will it in the coming days shape the whole technology space?
I think if you really go back to the core ethos of what's happening in IT, there's a large realization that digital plus or digital is the business. So companies are no more looking at digital as an enabler, but they're reimagining their business as digital at the center. There's a lot of push towards engineering capability, which is extending beyond, I use the word called IT, BT, and OT. So you have IT spend, classic CIO spend, the business technology spend, which is the cost of goods sold, which is where a lot of digital is happening, and then there's the OT spend. So there's a clear push around the way digital engineering is enabled by cloud is becoming the center theme. So cloud modernization, cloud adoption is really powering both the digital adoption as well as the engineering. And then there's a big shift towards softwareization of a lot of customers are trying to build software products or software platforms and are trying to accelerate around those pieces. So I think the outlook looks to be customers are really looking at adopting digital at the core. They will obviously look at optimization and other pieces as part of the regular enterprise efficiency gains. But the big shift is around how do I increase revenue.
Yeah. And finally, over the past couple of years, how has the role of a CTO changed?
I think so the CTO role is evolving significantly. If you really go back, there are 4 or 5 different types of a CTO role. There is inward facing, there is outward facing, there is CTOs who run or take more business aligned or business orientation. I think the role of a CTO is more than a technology officer, it's becoming a cultural transformation orchestrator. It's really about how do you bring the people modernization aspects, how do you bring business and technology closer to each other? And that's where we are really seeing the shift. So the role is not just a tech role, it's about business technology role, about how do you marry business and technology together.
Cultural technology
transformation
orchestrator.
Yep, I think I use this term because it's not about just technology, it's about how do you do cultural transformation working with different parts of the business, because tech is everywhere.
Sure.
So how do you bring the outside-in power of technology and the futuristic aspect of what's happening in the market, but then also carrying and modernizing the people. I think how do you make sure our people are skilled, upskilled and modernized to be able to align to the new.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.